But then Bryan Danielson versus Lee Moriarty. I said, at least Bryan Danielson is back. And there was a sign in the crowd, Bryan Danielson dies at the end of, or dies. Bryan Danielson cries at the end of Old Yeller, which I thought was funny. Again, all of the mistakes that everybody else has made, Danielson doesn't make them. Every time that a major star comes in this company and is put with an underneath guy, and that's no disrespect to Lee Moriarty. He's a bit player. He's a backup singer, whatever. He's a bench warmer, whatever genre of sports or entertainment that you want to. He's brand new and he ain't been far and he's got farther to go than he has behind him. So right now, he's an underneath guy. All of the marks that come in here, the indie wrestlers, they have a Starrcade main event match with undercard guys and barely eke out a win and think they've done something for somebody. And they haven't, because instead of elevating the guy that they're working with, they've made it so preposterous that everybody said, well, so-and-so, that star wasn't as good as I thought he was because he can't even beat old so-and-so there. They bring themselves down. They don't elevate the other guy. Danielson elevated Lee Moriarty by completely out-wrestling him and beating him. But because he made him look better than he ever has and gave him enough, but not too much, chances, it worked. Danielson makes it look effortless. He out-wrestles the guy. He slaps the shit out of him. Then he lets him shine. But Danielson stays in control. He's in control when they go to the break. He's in control when they come back. That now he lets Moriarty do a bunch more shit. But it's not about the length that everybody says, well, so-and-so shouldn't have gone that long. Here was an example. Danielson went long with Moriarty, but it was good because he knew what he was doing. It's taking your time and getting time. It can be a 15-minute match without being competitive, without being that WrestleMania main event. It can be 15 minutes because the star is cocky and toying with the guy, and that kills a little time and gets a little heat on the star, but then the fucking underneath babyface can fire up just enough that the people stay with it. But when Danielson won this, he didn't win by the skin of his teeth after this match. He made the guy look better than he ever has without bumping for him like a Super Bowl. Got the fans to chant, "This is awesome," for some wrestling maneuvers and mat wrestling. And then, Moriarty is green. He did a nice belly to back. He fired up. His strikes are not that great. He needs to work on those, but he fought to get a 2 count on Danielson, and finally he did. And then Moriarty got a crossface, but Danielson suplexed out because he's a better wrestler. This was a clinic by Bryan Danielson in how to work a good match with an underneath guy to bring him up but not be ridiculous. And that's what he did. And then Danielson stomped the shit out of him and put a leg triangle on him and choked him out while doing a double bicep pose. What a fucking heel. Perfect. Again, Bryan, I say,
you can't take your eyes off him in the ring. He's so good right now. He's so good.
And that's Lawler, when he was a heel, had that. Of the great heels have that you pay attention to them even when the other guy is doing his shit, even when the other guy's in control momentarily. Whatever, you're always paying attention to the star of that match, and that's Bryan Danielson. And then he starts doing a promo, and he's barely out of breath. And I love the quote, "I don't trust the American public with anything," when he'd asked if they wanted to see him and Moxley team up. But this is where I don't know whether to be fallen, crestfallen, downtrodden, depressed, or what's going to go on here. But he's still asking Moxley to team up with him to teach the young guys about violence. He wants an answer. Moxley comes in. I've heard Wild Thing now, so I fast forwarded 5 minutes to get him to the fucking ring. And watching him sway and swerve and stagger gives me nausea in the ring. He did mention Tracy Smothers, Moxley did. But, I mean, it was a promo. He recounted his first indie match with Bryan Danielson 20 years ago where he lost. And then since then, he's never beaten Bryan Danielson. And he wants to, but Danielson wants to join him, not fight him. And Moxley says, all the arms we could snap, the skulls we could cave in, etc. You don't believe it from this guy that looks like somebody that hangs out on the back porch in fucking Newport, Kentucky. Which is a suburb of Cincinnati, by the way, for those who think I don't know where Moxley's fucking hometown is. This took quite a while. I will go along with you here. This took a while. And finally, Moxley's trying to figure out, did Danielson ask for this because he doesn't want to fight Moxley? So Moxley won't say yes or no to the deal because he doesn't stand side by side with somebody until he bleeds with them first. And then he leaves all bad and blah. And I would like to see Jon Moxley walk up to any legitimate tough guy, badass in the history of the wrestling business and talk about snapping necks and drinking blood and all that stuff and see which one of them picked their teeth with him first. I love Danielson's match and I like Danielson's interview, and Moxley just irritates me at this point. It's just all this phony violence, like he's so violent. David Schultz was a violent motherfucker and made you believe that. Jon Moxley does not. Your thoughts?
I agree. I'm kind of sick of his promo already. Again, even though he's just been back for a little while, but I'm not feeling it, not digging it, don't like his promo, don't believe any of the words that come out of his mouth. Sometimes it seems like he's just, I don't know. I don't believe anything he's saying.
You know what? This is a weird thing because I always say that the guys need to believe what they're saying before the people will.
I think he believes it.
He believes that he is really this fucking badass, blood-drinking, neck-snapping, fucking mayhem fucking master because he doesn't have a mirror in his home, apparently.
If this doesn't end with him and Danielson actually doing something together, and I can't imagine it would, then I kind of don't like doing this with Danielson. It's a little weird. I'm not looking forward to a Danielson-Moxley match, although it may be the Moxley match I enjoy the most. But I'm guessing, originally before he went to rehab, they were going towards Danielson and Moxley. It looked like Moxley would turn heel. It looks like this is just their new way to get to these two guys wrestling.
Again, like you say, I want to see Danielson. I'd like to see Danielson against the younger guys that he can really help. Moxley is not going to change his style. He's going to do the garbage matches. If he's going to change, he'd have done it long before now. And all it's going to do is inject more of that gaga into Bryan Danielson's impeccable fucking performances. So, no, I don't want to see it.